Bleach Chapter 590. What even was going on in this chapter? We had like sexual references coming out the walls. We had bloody Kurosachi throwing Pokeballs and shit all over the place. And oh my god, this is just such a bizarre Bleach chapter. I mean, like, last one was here and there and everything like that, but, you know, they really haven't toned down all the references since then, have they? Moving on to the chapter itself. My god, was this a strange chapter. What we had Kurosachi returning in his giant suit of light, or still really don't know what that suit is supposed to be or do at this point, and we've got the zombie trap chick, still not really sure if she's a man or a woman or what it is exactly, but nevertheless, it doesn't really matter at the moment. What matters is when Bambi, or whatever, Bambietta's got a bit, I guess you could say, touchy-feely with the zombie, and it was almost like, at first I thought she was like acting like a zombie from the way that Kubo was trying to sort of push the zombie attributes of Bambietta and the other zombies and things like that, but then all of a sudden I think that turned into a sexual reference at that point, and if like that's a man, but even if it's not, like, what are you doing, Kubo? This is just weird, okay? It's just really getting friggin' bizarre right now. Moving on to some more professional parts of the chapter. Kurosachi's back there, and he's developed this sort of Pokeball. I'm going to call it a Pokeball, right? Because he hasn't given it a name, and that's what I'm going to call it. It's some sort of gadget he's invented, and he has his lieutenant with him, by the way, which I was quite surprised about. By the way, just a bit of a reminder, his lieutenant is technically him, so they have the same will and everything like that. But yes, so he's throwing Pokeballs and everything, and they're basically Reishi sealing Pokeballs, so he's catching the Reishi. And so he's collecting up all that, and what it essentially does is it seals the host body which she has injected her Reishi into by her blood, so that they can't just control that individual. At first I thought it just like sealed all the Reishi around the zombie, so she couldn't really do, well, anything, but no, it was just the host body. Unfortunately, they have, you know, they've brought the entire I think it's the 11th Division back from the dead, and now they're all, you know, they're not really that powerful. I don't really see how they impose any sort of threat. If I can be honest, like, even though Ikkaku obviously wouldn't want to kill people from his own division, well, he's not technically killing them, but, you know, I'm sure he would be more than enough to take out every single one there. But yet, we have the return of the 4 Aronka that I could not give, well, you know, I really don't care. There's only one of them that I, you know, really recognised, and that was, how shall we say, I think his name was Charlotte. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's the name. And if you don't remember, back when we had the whole big Eisen thing, this was the Aronka that had a big argument with the 5th seat of the 11th Division. I forget his name, is Ikkaku's mate. And they were having an argument about who's prettier and more majestic, and it was just, well, it was hilarious, but it was just bizarre. And the fact that those two characters are both back in the same situation again, except, you know, they're obviously not fighting against each other this time, is just really bizarre. I gotta say, this chapter was really quite funny, but it was just, what the fuck is going on? This is so bizarre. I don't really know what Kubo is trying to do right now. It's like a sort of mix of serious fighting, but at the same time it's just getting really out of hand right now. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, I sat down, I read this chapter. We had a little bit more dialogue than usual, and I enjoyed it. It was nice. I really enjoyed it, and it's good to see Kubo really mixing things up again. I think he's gone from maybe a little bit too much of one extreme to the other. You know, maybe just tone it down about 40% next chapter, right? And try and get a little bit more serious sort of dialogue in it. There was a little bit of strange things here and there that Kurosachi was doing, like he was saying that, you know, the hero always looks bright and things like that. It was like, well, you know, what is Superman gonna go make himself a suit of neon just for the hell of it? You know, it seems a little bit bizarre, but whatever. This chapter was what this chapter was. I give this chapter about, I reckon I give it a 7.5 out of 10. It was entertaining. It honestly was entertaining. I could have done with a bit more seriousness. And why did we not have Grimmjow back? If Grimmjow is not back by like fucking page 3 next chapter, I will be raging. It's honestly like you bring back the most cannon folder of bloody Aronka. They've barely got names. They just don't even matter. Okay, there's a few quite powerful ones in there, but even still, like, they're just bizarre, and they're no Grimmjow, okay? We've been shit teasing for about nearly 2 years now when Kubo announced that he would be bringing Grimmjow back at some festival, I think it was, and it's just like, well, why would we not have Grimmjow? It's just like all the signs just pointing at this situation and that we don't have it. So seriously, page 3, next chapter, we need to see it, alright? It's just not acceptable if we don't. Alright guys, that's about it for the chapter today. What did you think of it? Did you think he went a bit too far, or do you think this is just a nice change ever since the Kubo's had his new editors in? I think for about 3 chapters now he's had it, and honestly, you can see the chapters are improving. They may not be necessarily improving in the ways that we want them to improve in, but I think this is sort of spacing it out, because before it was just sort of seeming like, alright, event, 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 and when everyone's just like, oh, come on, hurry up, Bleach, just end. But now, no, I'm enjoying this again, and it's good. It was funny, and it was just really bizarre, but at the end of the day, I enjoyed it, and that's what I read manga for. So yes, this was Bleach 590. Tell me what you thought in the comments down below. What do you think is going to happen? And my god, why do you think Kubo has not brought back Grimmjow? It's just really, really bizarre. Anyway guys, have a good one.